Hey, so in this video we are going to be looking further into the Chrome web developer tools, and within that specifically we are going to be looking into the network activity, and we'll just go about understanding how it works. So as you can see, I'm on my website, and we know that you can open developer tools either by right clicking and going to inspect, or by simply using Ctrl Shift and I. So in the previous videos, we saw all about elements, console, and other things like that. We covered topics such as how to edit HTML, how to edit the CSS, and in console we saw certain features, how to log a message, how to log an error or a warning, or even how to perform JavaScript there. Then we even saw something called breakpoints, where you could pause the debugger at a certain point. So today we are going to be looking into this section, which is the network part. Now I'll just quickly reload the page. So you might notice these different things have been loaded here. So what are these? These are just resources that the page is using. All right, they are just requests that are being sent. Just requests that are being sent to the server. And if I keep it here and if I scroll down, you can see the request went from 99 to 100, and it might increase if there's some more resources that needs to be loaded. So it went to 124 now, and just yeah. So these are just resources or requests that are sent to the server, and you can see whether if they were successful or not by looking at the status. And firstly, there's the name, which describes what resource it is. Then there's the status. You can check if it was successfully sent or not. Then there's the type. What type of document is it? So this is a font document, this is a JPEG, and as you can see it's .js, so it's a script. And initiator is where the request is actually being initiated from. So in this case it is being initiated from this source, right? Then the size is the actual size of the file, and this is the time. Here. So yeah, this is the time taken for it to load, right? And the waterfall, it just gives you a brief overview, like, okay, I'll select one that has, yeah. So you can see the certain values. It's queued at this point, it started at this point. Then you can see the resource scheduling, the connection start time, and the duration of different processes, and the request response, whether it was sent or not. You can find all those things in the waterfall section, right? Now suppose you only wanted certain types of data to be visible, right? Suppose you only wanted the CSS documents to be visible. So you could actually, like, could filter them out. So you could filter them in, means you only want the CSS files to be visible, so just type in CSS and everything matching that will be visible here. Similarly, if you want to filter out CSS, you could just add a minus sign and everything except CSS will be shown. Alright. Similarly, if you want to filter by document types, you could do that as well. Currently it's on all. You could set it to JS, so only the JS files would be visible. Set it to CSS, image, media, and so on, right? This is how you could do filtering. And there's this capture screenshot, which is off by default, but I had turned it on beforehand. So it just captures screenshot at different time intervals of the interaction with the site, right? And this is just your overview of the whole thing. You can hide this, yeah, you can even hide this. So yeah, this was the functionality and filtering part of it. There are some other things as well, like there's throttling. So for throttling, suppose you want to experience the site how a mobile user would experience it. So you could set it to slow 3G and quickly refresh the page. So now you're experiencing it how a mobile user would experience it at that speed, right? And that how you can that's one way of measuring the performance, right? And now it's marked in red, this thing, which means that it has not been sent. So if I click here, you can see the status code. It's red because that means it's not been sent. And you can also further dive deeper into singular documents or singular requests by just clicking on them, and it will show you the different options. Firstly, there's headers where you can find the request method, status code, stuff, and then you find all these parameters. Then there's payload. So then there's preview, which just gives you a basic preview of what this thing is. And then response, what you got in response. Right? Then the initiator, as we discussed, where the request is being initiated from, and the timing. It's basically the waterfall feature. Right, now let's see one that actually loaded. So yeah, so if you go to response here, you can see the source code of it. Yeah. Payload, as I said, you could see these parameters. Let's say we go to a PNG file. Yeah, so this is just a header menu notification icon, so you can see in preview that it is visible here. Right. So these are just some pictures that have been sent as resources, and you can see the preview here, right? It wasn't available for this because it didn't load. I mean, it is available, but just says too many requests. Then again, in filtering, either you can do it by document type or by this as well. You could tick if they have blocked cookies only, then they'll be visible, or they have blocked requests, then they'll be visible, or only the third party request will be visible. So things like that. And suppose you are on a site and you think all the sufficient resources have been loaded and you don't want any other resource to load from this point, you could click this stop recording network log, and it will be stopped at, suppose we are at 101 requests now, but if I perform some other interactions, there's a possibility that more requests might load. But if I don't want them to load, I'll just stop recording here, and even if I interact, it won't load here. Okay. Then there's clear as well, where you could clear it and then refresh it again to get the values again. Right. So this was basically all about the network part of it, and how to view network activity, how to filter it, and uh, dig deeper into it. And yeah, then you could even move this. Since it's in the right side now, it's some might feel that it's not very accessible or user friendly, so you could move it downstairs, to the left, to the top. You could change the panel layout as well, as we saw in the last video. Yeah, this is where you can find the dock side. So like I can set it to the bottom of the page, or I can set it to the left side, or even keep it as floating, so it's basically in a different window of its own. And another thing you could do with this is that if you were to suppose right click of any of the request, you could block the request, like, right. So it will be ticked enable network request blocking, and this request will be blocked, right? So next time the page is loaded, this request will be blocked. So you can see 0 blocked, which means this request hasn't been made yet. So once it's made, or if it's made, it will be blocked. But for now, it's showing 0 blocked, which means it hasn't been made yet, right? Let's scroll and see. No, still no. So what I'll do is I'll just block Yeah, let's say I'll block this. Okay, block request URL. So I've blocked the background. So let's say I refresh. It's loading. Yeah, as you can see, the background has disappeared because we had blocked that, and it's appeared here that one has been blocked. So this is how you could block single resources or multiple ones if you added them here, right? So this is just another thing you could do in the network panel. So yeah, this was pretty much all for the video. Thank you for watching.